KCM Wealth Management. Vancouver lawyers Dumoulin Boscovich. The Vancouver Courier newspaper. David and Mark Goodman.
The housing market is pretty good these days, and there are a lot of houses being built. There are a lot of houses being bought and torn down. In my neighborhood, that's happening every day. What happens to concrete, tile, rock, drywall? Where does it all go? It doesn't just automatically disappear. We're discussing recycling because there's so many things, including things like mattresses piling up in back alleys, so many things that we just tend to throw away, old sofas, for example. And the question is, why are we just chucking them in the backyard? And does it cost us a lot of money to get rid of these things, and how do we do that? So our guest in that respect is the man who knows the answer to all these questions, Brock MacDonald, the Executive Director of the Recycling Council of BC. Now look, here's a friend of mine. He has a buddy who runs a recycling company, right, a for-profit company. He says 4 mattresses would take him about 2 hours. That's about $250, or it was $250, and now suddenly, in 1 year, it's going to cost him about $520 for some reason or other. He says he's got extra charges, and the costs have been going up. You're looking very puzzled.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what he's paying the money for. Is that to do what? For mattresses?
Well, he's saying 2 times 120 hours plus $2.50 dumping fee equals $260.50. That was in 2010. In 2011, 2 times 120 plus 4 times 20 mattresses plus a $200 burial fee.
Well, I don't know where to put those figures because I'm not sure the context. But here's what's happening now, and the reason why you're seeing mattresses being dumped and that sort of thing.
Okay.
There is a fee being put on those to landfill, right?
Okay.
An extra fee, and one of the reasons is you want to keep that sort of stuff out of the landfill.
Right.
Now there's 3 companies in the Lower Mainland that are recycling mattresses.
Oh, you sent me a video. That was neat. Yeah, those are the young company. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you can drop off a mattress, for instance, to them for $10, right?
Yeah.
So they take that mattress then and they strip off all the components and recover them. And so they've been doing this for 3 months. Would you like to guess how much steel they've recovered in 3 months?
Oh, I'm afraid several ton or
300,000 pounds.
Holy smokes!
That's enough to build about 20 Honda Civics.
Yeah.
That's why we want to keep that out of the landfill. That's a resource. You see, they don't grow steel anymore. What we've got in the ground is all we've got, right? So we're not going to have that anymore. Yeah. So
you mean we could have built the Olympic Village for nothing?
Maybe. So here's what's going to happen.
Yes.
They've established this sort of business, and they're obviously their business model is working. They're recovering materials. Those materials are being then used as resources to make other products. That is the entire concept behind cradle to cradle, closed loop economies. The reason why we want EPR is so we can move up that hierarchy from recycle to reduction to reuse to redesign. So we can redesign products so they're more easily recyclable. You can recover those materials more easily and then have secondary industry use those as feedstock for new industry here locally in BC, regionally, so we can grow our economy.
And new employment.
Exactly.
And there's a company similar to the one that you sent me, that's been operating in Quebec for, what, 20 years, 30 years or so?
Sure.
Very, very successful. Now, look, let's be very practical. In terms of, for example, mattresses and sofas, show me the difference. If I put, you've seen my funny little car, if I put a mattress on my car and I drive out to the Manitoba Yards or wherever it is,
Yep.
Will they take it?
Well, they're going to charge you for it at the, you're talking about the transfer station,
yeah,
right?
well, yeah. What
But
are
you
they-
could phone up one of these mattress companies and they'll arrange for a pickup. And, you know, there's
And they'll do it for $20.
they'll do it for $20 or whatever
But what are they going to charge me if I go to the yards?
I think it's 25.
Oh, so it's cheaper to
I
get
think
something.
it's cheaper.
And
right?
easier.
Now, once that, it will eventually become a regulated product under the recycling regulations, not
Yes.
now. But once it is, the fee will likely be included in the product price. So an advanced disposal fee. They'll probably show it on the label or on the receipt so you can see that what's happening with that.
Yes.
But it's would be part of the product price. Then when it comes time to recycle your mattress, likely is you'd only have to call them up. They come over, pick it up for nothing because they're under contract to the stewardship agency to recover that material.
Let's go to the political aspect here.
Sure.
My friend who took these photos of things in the back alley, which is how this whole conversation started, because he did that casually and then phoned me and said, you know, here's something for your television show. His sense is, and he may be right or wrong, I want your comment, that Metro Vancouver is pushing the cost and burden of responsibility of trash disposal to individuals. And if that's the case, if he's right, why would they be doing that?
Well,
he says the bottom line is the taxpayers seem to be paying more for recycling but getting less service.
Well, I think as taxpayers right now in the current system, if you took away EPR, the taxpayer is the one paying for the disposal system, both recycling and disposal.
Yes.
Okay? One of the reasons behind EPR is to move the responsibility of the cost associated with managing that material and product from local taxpayers to the end user, the consumer.
Yes.
So it's a consumer-based, end-user-based process.
Look, last week, Dr. Brian Day was sitting where you are to talk about, you know, Brian Day's central message for years has been putting more and more private enterprise into the healthcare system.
Right.
Would we be better off, Brock, would we be better off if governments got out of this business and people like those young kids who started the mattress recycling company, if more and more people took up the recycling banner as a business?
That is a really hugely important question, and here's why. Only about 100 years or so have local governments in North America been managing our waste. Up until that point, that wasn't happening. It started as an issue of sanitation in the United States, right?
Yep.
That's why you heard that term, Department of Sanitation, because it was a public health issue. That's not what it's about now. Now it's about managing the end of life of products. So it should shift to industry and the consumer. There's a vision for Vancouver, or not just for Vancouver, but for all of British Columbia, that the waste stream will split into two separate parts. One being organics, which we all use, which would be managed by local government because that makes sense. The other stream would be managed by industry through EPR. Literally everything in the garbage that's not organic, in your garbage can, you pull it out, it's a product, it's a wrapper, it's a piece of packaging, it's a broken product. So the theory is that all of that could be managed by industry and the organics could be managed by local government because we all produce that in our daily lives.
Did I read recently or hear recently, or did I just dream this, that the city of Vancouver is going to ask me to start mulching soon?
Yeah, there is going to be organics programs throughout Metro Vancouver because that's part of their waste. See, 40% of the solid waste stream is organics. And 20%, so half of that, is really what we call low-hanging fruit, the easy stuff to compost, the yard trimmings, the food waste, that sort of stuff. You know how heavy that is? And it's like $80 a ton for garbage. So you take that stuff out, and all of a sudden you've greatly reduced your cost to local government to manage waste.
Okay, let me go back to the public perception issue, because I think that's huge. I think that whoever, maybe it's you, maybe it's governments, maybe it's the city of Vancouver, have done a wonderful job getting the message across that I put my newspapers and my cardboard boxes and my bottles in the blue box, and I put my garbage in the garbage bin, and my occasional leaves and so on and something else. The mess, I got it. Even I, and I'm not very bright about these things, I got it, okay? But the message is not getting to me yet strongly enough about all these other toys, about the plasma TVs, about the laptops. Today, I still believe that the only thing to do with the laptop that I just replaced is to give it to someone who will clean the motherboard and then give it to a child who can't afford a laptop. Is there something else? I mean, when will I get the message that there's another way to dispose of it?
Well, that again is a great question, and something that we're talking about in terms of raising the bar for industry stewardship programs. For instance, you could pick a number like most of them start at 75% recovery for their products.
Right.
You could also have a measurement of 75% public awareness, and it would be easy for them to all go in and do a poll annually to find out what the level of public awareness is. And we have political parties do that all the time. You see that with the federal election. So it wouldn't be a stretch.
I have a friend in the polling business. I should ask him. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a stretch for them to do that, to see of these programs what the public awareness level is. And when you identify that one is at 80 and one is at 20, then the one at 20 is going to step up what it does in terms of its public education awareness.
Is your organization, Recycling Council BC, reasonably well funded? Are you doing okay?
Well, we're managing all right, but we have a very small budget. I mean,
So I guess what I'm saying is, when will I start to see the TV ads and the newspaper ads that tell me, here's how to get rid of your cell phone, here's how to do it?
Well, you do see some of those already.
Okay.
I think the one that has the most active campaign is Encore Pacific, which handles beverage containers for non-alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
You know, it's that karma thing.
Yes.
You know, don't mess with karma.
Yes,
You've seen those, right? That's theirs. So that's one stewardship agency that does quite a bit of advertising on television, radio, and other media.
Do you and I agree that we need more?
Absolutely.
We need lots of messaging.
Sure, we do, and we need it in different ways. And it's not always expensive. We have Facebook. We have, in fact, we have a conference that's coming up in June, our 37th annual Zero Waste Conference, and we have an entire afternoon dedicated to training people how to do social media.
You have one of those fancy schmancy phones in your pocket.
Fancy phones.
So shouldn't they come with some built-in messaging? I know it'll annoy the end user, but.
Well, that's just the thing. How do you get all those manufacturers to sort of agree on that? But what we're doing, we're going to develop an app that'll help people out. So that's just part of the component. It's like a toolbox. You know, you've got these different tools for different things, and you've got to use a variety of tools to get this message out.
Brock, wonderful. Thanks so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate you joining us. All right, that's our story for today, recycling. Next week, by the way, the studio is dark for a week. They do this every so often to sweep out the floor or something. So we're going to give you a rerun of one of our shows, and you'll get to see once again, if you didn't see it, it's a fantastic conversation with Calvin Heelan, who's an Aboriginal lawyer, and he's written a series of books which have taken North America by storm. The guy is in such demand. He just has one person having to manage his life these days. And his message is this. The first book was called Dances with Dependency. And he is standing up and telling fellow Aboriginals and others how to move forward progressively. And he's not making everybody happy. He's quite controversial, but a marvelous conversation. So join us for that next week. In the meantime, davidberner.com if you want to send us an email. And thank you again for joining us here on Shaw Community TV, Cable 4.